Breaking news that you need to know about right now. Tua Tagovailoa is in concussion protocol once again. Reports say his status is in doubt for Sunday against the Patriots. But remember, go back to early in the season. He got a concussion against the Bills. He returned to that game. Then 4 days later, national television against the Cincinnati Bengals, Tua gets carted off the field as he is temporarily paralyzed with the whole world watching. When I heard the news, I was not necessarily surprised by it. I do remember seeing a tweet online going viral about a play where Tua may have been concussed. That came out 24 hours ago. But more than anything, my notes about this game prior to hearing the news, Tua's 3 interceptions were uncharacteristic. Not to say Tua hasn't thrown interceptions before. He threw 2 against the San Francisco 49ers. But remember, against the 49ers, his running back slips coming out of a break on an angle route. The 49ers defensive back, Jimmy Ward, jumps over, grabs a pick. When Tua throws interceptions, they are not careless interceptions. What you saw him throw against the Green Bay Packers were careless interceptions. Tua is a lot of things, but what Tua is not is careless. What Tua is not is seemingly mentally unstable. That's what Tua's not. So when you saw some of those interceptions, the last pick he threw to Rasul Douglas, when Rasul Douglas is a cover 2 cornerback and not even disguising the coverage, that's a mistake you make if you don't know how to read coverage. That is a mistake of conception. That is a mistake of competency. That's not a mistake of physical inability. We talk about Tua Tagovailoa, and his criticism is typically he's physically limited. But the interceptions he threw to Rasul Douglas, to Devondre Campbell, and to Jair Alexander, those were not physical interceptions. Those were mental interceptions. So when I do hear about concussion protocol, and it has not yet been stated that he has a concussion, he is simply in protocol, it does to some degree make me go back and think and ask myself, what in the world was going on with those interceptions? Because they were very uncharacteristic. But Dave, what are your thoughts?
I mean, that's totally plausible. Yeah, I mean, they were baffling interceptions. The thing for me, and I don't want to get too far out over my skis here, but like this is a recurring thing in the NFL where a guy has a concussion, or we don't want to say he's got a concussion, but this comes up and it gets missed or it gets delayed. The tweet that you referenced, somebody on Twitter just watching TV copy, because the tape's not available that quickly to those of us that aren't coaches and players, saw it in the game and was like, I flagged this immediately because it looked bad. So he saw it, and I saw it and was like, well, that can't be right, because if it was that obvious, somebody would have caught it, right? And clearly not. It reminds me of the issue with Nelson Aguilar and Devontae Parker a couple weeks ago with the Patriots, where a player has to stop a play because a guy's symptoms weren't getting noticed. So, again, this is happening right now. I don't want to speak too definitively, but that's my thing, is like, that would explain the interceptions. But if it was that bad that he's throwing those types of picks, why did he play the whole rest of the game?
I mean, I don't know. Where there's supposed to be spotters in the stadium. Are they like busy getting popcorn?
If
we're able to see, and we don't know if it was that specific play. Obviously, I've seen the one you're talking about as well, and maybe that is where he hit his head, or maybe it was something else. But if you're putting spotters in place and they're still missing this, do you need more spotters? Do we have to have someone watching the spotter to make sure that they're watching the game?
This is the play at hand. I believe we have it. We want to show it so you, the viewer, can be as informed. This is a play we're talking about. It is in the second quarter. Tua's going to make a pass to number 81, his tight end, but watch his head hit the ground on this play again. None of us sitting at this table are doctors besides Joy, and Joy is not that kind of doctor. So as you watch the play, Tua's head does in fact hit the ground. This is a play on social media that many people are alluding to. Shady, you have played a lot of football games in your career. You've amassed over 15,000 total yards. Speak to this from a player perspective, hearing this news about Tua.
Yeah, like my thing is, I guess for the NFL to support them is like you can't catch everything, right? Like I think if every time somebody gets hit a certain way or his head may kind of, hit the turf, because sometimes like in fast motion it looks worse than what it is. So you slow it down. So I can't like blame them because they can't get every call. I think they've been doing a great job lately of it. I've seen guys, they come out, they get hit a certain way, like their head hit the ground, they come out, and in 3 plays they're back in the game. So they're trying to do their jobs. I don't want to blame them because they're trying their best, right? And you won't catch every single hit. It's a physical game. Guys are hitting each other every play.
Yeah, I mean, linemen hit each other in the head every single play of the game. It's impossible to regulate violence out of the sport, and it's impossible to catch every time someone's head is hurt. But particularly with Tua, who's already had multiple instances with this season, you would think they'd be paying closer attention. What I find interesting is that that is what is explaining these these interceptions. Like, to Dave's point, how bad was it that nobody on the sideline, when the Dolphins were at the forefront of being negligent in allowing him to play, is no one paying attention to this?
I'll say it like this. Look, I'll personalize it. I've told you all this before. I will say it again. I got a concussion in my career making a tackle. I made a tackle. It was I was playing for Texas against Nebraska. I dive at the running back. His knee, Roy Halou, his knee hits me in the side of the helmet. I lay on the ground for a second. Then I pop right up. I never got a concussion before. I didn't know what it was. I jog over to the bench, passed a little concussion test. Only reason I took a concussion test was because I told him, hey, I took a knee to the head. Now, what happened in that moment, I just forgot the plays, but I still had a wristband telling me the plays. So I asked my backup before every series, hey, what do I do on play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8? I could still go out there and function, and I still could play at a decently high level, but I did forget in the short term what I was supposed to do on certain plays. That is why, Joy, when I was watching this game, I was like, wait a second. I've never seen Tua misread a cover 2 corner. For you all at home who are only familiar with NFL Tua, Tua's claim to fame as a true freshman, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave Helman, he replaces Jalen Hurts in the national championship game or in the SEC championship game against Georgia. He looks off a safety, a cover 2, cover 4 side. He looks off a safety in cover 2, slings the ball to Devontae Smith, now for the Eagles, Devontae Smith, formerly for the Bama Tide, Devontae Smith, strike, and that is how Alabama goes on to win a national championship. So the interception that Tua threw just this past Sunday, he was defeating in college as a freshman. The math was not mathing as I was watching the game.
All right, well, I'm not going to go to college, right? We see, this is the problem. Like, now it's a concussion situation. That's the reason why he threw picks. He threw crazy picks against the Niners. Same one. I'm like, wow, that's why he throw this. Why did he throw that pass?
Different, though.
Hold on. He's had issues where he's throwing picks. He's had issues where he's 5
on the season, Shady. 3 in one game.
All I'm saying is the last couple of games, he hasn't looked that good.
True.
Right? Okay, so I don't want to, like, pinpoint, this is the reason why. Like, I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. But I'm just saying, Tua he hasn't been playing well. Right? When he was playing almighty and high, we thought he was a legit elite quarterback. He hasn't been playing that well the last couple of games. Now, that tackle, like he might have hit his head. I'm not saying that he wasn't concussed. I'm just saying the NFL can't pick every situation out, right? I don't think it's the team just trying to, put him out there because they need to win.
No,
right?
I don't think that there's any, foul play here.
Right.
Where they see that he's obviously injured and they're still putting him out there. And Shady's right. He hasn't been playing well outside of the Bills game.
Yeah.
And through 3 quarters this game, he was playing well. And obviously everything fell apart with those 3 consecutive picks. Bigger picture for the Dolphins, if he doesn't play this week, which he likely won't if he's in concussion protocol right now.
Well, he can.
Yes.
Optically, if nothing else.
Optically, he can't. And then also because because of the optics, he has suffered a concussion already this season. So if he's in concussion protocol again, they're not going to put him out on the field to then suffer a real concussion. And then now you have a real problem once again.
So it's a lose-lose
type
of thing.
Early in the season. So the Dolphins are in a situation where they need to win the next 2 games in order to go to the playoffs. And now they're going to have to do that with a backup quarterback.
So wait, let me ask you a question though. If he passed the test, right, and he's able to play, they can't play him because of how it's going to look, I guess?
No.
Okay.
I mean, at this point, it's a repetitive. This is a bigger conversation now, obviously.
Yeah,
as well,
this is
because
a
once you start to
issue.
amass a certain amount of head.
Correct.
He should retire. Because if we're going to do this every time, I'm being serious.
No, I mean,
he should retire. Every time. I'm going to say it because every time it's like the concussion he had at the Bengals game, right? Or was it the one we had before that?
Before that, Buffalo Bills.
Okay, Buffalo Bills.
Sir.
He got concussed, came back in the game, right?
Yep.
They won the game, but
game.
he concussed. Then he goes and he plays against the Bengals. They say he's still concussed. He plays the game. Now, they're going back and forth with the doctors from they got somebody fired, right? And this is like, I think the NFL is so worried about their shield that they're going to make a big thing. So now every time Tua gets touched, right, especially with the head, he can't play. And no player can play like that. No, it's just a rhythm thing, especially at quarterback. So I think the best thing for him is to retire. Because every time something happens with his head, they're going to say, hey, he lost the game because he's concussed, or he should have been playing. Why? The next story is going to be this. Why would the team put him back out there? They didn't know he was concussed, right? That's what's going to happen. So my thing is the best thing for him, for his safety, he should just retire.
It sounds outlandish. I won't comment on your comment. We'll expand on that.
Keep it real, though.
Well, here's what I will say. Luke Kuechly, to me, the greatest linebacker since 2010, Luke Kuechly and Patrick Willis.
Great player.
He retires at the age of 28, 3 concussions in 1 season. So I won't speak on what Tua should or shouldn't do. I can't even speak on if he has a concussion right now. I would like to assume he probably does, not like to based on desire, like to based on information that's been presented. But Luke Kuechly, 3 concussions, 1 season, age 28, did in fact retire. So I won't call LeSean McCoy crazy right now for what you're saying.
It's safety, right? Luke Kuechly was one of the best. When he retired, like, why did he retire? Then they talked about he had the concussions and et cetera. It makes sense. I'm just saying, for Tua's safety, he should retire. To play this game at a high level, you got to go, right? You don't want to second guess every moment because then you get hurt even more. I think with all these different injuries that he keeps getting, it might be time for his safety to retire.
I think at a minimum, to Joy's point, they got to shut him down for the season. Yeah, I mean, it's too risky to roll.
Wait, real quick. What about the doctors, though? So let's see. We're human, right? So we got a conscience, okay? Now, you had 2 games where they say you was concussed, right? And then they put you out there. It was a whole big thing, right? Now you come back and they're saying he's concussed now.
He's in protocol.
Concussion protocol. And it's in the same field.
Right.
So now, what do you think they're going to talk about these doctors now? It's going to be the same thing.
Oh, no doctor's going to clear him. I would be very surprised.
But I'm talking about the doctors, the team, for him even going back out there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So moving forward, what's the term?
It's going to be a big thing.
Spinning it forward?
Spinning it forward. I don't see him playing this weekend. So like bigger picture for the Dolphins, it would be very surprising to see him play this weekend. They would be certainly criticized for it.
Yeah.
God forbid something more serious happened if he were to go back out there.
Do you see him playing the rest of the year?
That's a better question.
If they manage to win this game against the Patriots this weekend with a backup quarterback and he is healthy next week, like they say he doesn't have a concussion, but he's not going to play this weekend. If they win this game and they have an opportunity to go to the playoffs against the Jets, I would imagine he's going to play.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.